Hi there, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about the thyroidectomy that I had in 2021 for stage 3 thyroid cancer, the recovery from that, and then I'm going to be talking about why I decided not to do radioactive iodine, which was the recommended course of treatment. So if you managed to watch my previous video, you'll see that I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer in 2021 with almost no symptoms. It had gone into my jugular vein and it had gone up the left side of my neck into the lymph nodes. I was recommended to have a almost immediate thyroidectomy, and when I left the doctor's office, I had already decided that I was not going to be taking the thyroidectomy. I decided that I wanted to take a natural route, and I decided that I was going to find other people who had done this too. So I first of all put myself on a modified Gerson therapy. Now I am going to talk about this in another video because the protocol that I created for myself is going to need to be broken down. But if you are watching this, you have never heard of the Gerson therapy, you're wanting to try something more natural, the Gerson therapy is a really good book to start looking at. It's based on a particular diet, coffee enemas and juicing, and it was designed by Dr. Max Gerson. Lots of great success stories from it. I decided straight away to put myself on a modified Gerson therapy. So I was juicing, I was doing coffee enemas, I was already vegan, so I was eating a plant-based diet. And then in the meantime, I was starting to research who had healed a stage 3 thyroid cancer naturally. Now I came across so many people that had healed stage 3, stage 4, terminal cancers in general naturally, but I never found anyone who had done stage 3 thyroid cancer. And my feeling and my theory on that so far is because thyroid cancer typically is very slow growing, it actually is quite slow then to retreat as well. So the benefit of its slow speed also works against it a little bit if you're trying to reverse it. I did find people who had stage 1 nodules, so they had a suspected cancerous nodule within the thyroid. I found people that were successful with that. So if that's you, there are people out there. But for me, right around the neck and already through the jugular vein, I couldn't find someone. I phoned a couple of natural clinics in Mexico. I phoned one in Germany. I phoned one in Spain, I believe, and then I rang 3 different people here in the UK. And every single person said, if it's gotten that far, I would take that out, I would take the tumor out, and I would work on improving your health from there. I decided to go and do it. From the CT scan that I'd had that showed my neck and my lungs, which was in the very, very early June, I was scheduled to have the surgery, and my surgery actually was cancelled 3 times. So I was set up and then there weren't enough staff to cover the beds. So I was cancelled on the first day, then 2 weeks later I was cancelled again, and then 2 weeks after that I got in for the thyroidectomy. They took me in the night before to give me a scan again because it had gone through my jugular vein and they were going to potentially take out the jugular vein. The surgeon had said that they really wanted a clear pathway of if anything had changed and exactly what it looked like now. So when I went in the next morning, I had to go in fasted, and I went in, got into my gown. They did some basic checks on me, and then I sat to wait to speak to the surgeon. And the surgeon was exactly the same gentleman who had diagnosed me those couple of months earlier. So I went in, I sat with him, and he told me that he was quite surprised that the CT scan from August, September, just over 2 months earlier, 2.5 months earlier, had shown absolutely, no, I had my operation in mid-October, so June, July, August, September, so 4.5 months, so even better. He said that in those 4.5 months, there had been absolutely no change in any of the growth in my thyroid and up my neck. And when I asked him, although I already knew the answer, if that was uncommon, he said, yes, that's absolutely uncommon. I would have expected to see a change. I would have expected to see a growth. That is why I ordered the scan. So this was incredibly helpful. They took me down for the surgery, and right before I was about to go in, right before they were about to put me out, the anaesthetist said, actually, hold up, let's look down her throat one more time. I don't want any surprises while we're in there in this operation. Actually found a second tumor that had been hiding somehow on the imaging behind the first. And the surgeon remarked to me that he didn't know how I'd gone so long able to eat. He has said he would have expected me to be unable to swallow or unable to eat. I remember going under for the operation, and then next thing I know, I'm back out. This is the first time I've ever been under general anesthetic. And I asked straight away when the surgeon came, did you take my jugular vein? Did you have to take it? And they said, yes, it had clearly been moved into. So yes, jugular vein was gone, and we've stripped your neck here. We've sent it off for pathology. We'll let you know. So day 2, a physio came to work with me. Now this is really important. The physio gave me exercises to move like this, to be looking up like this and looking down. The thing with working on the neck is that you have to go through muscle, and this can cause an imbalance. So they stressed to me it was really important to do these exercises, and I'm really glad I did, because I've got pretty good movement. I do still get pain through here where I have some scar tissue, but I do a lot of manual release on that, and I go and I have Bowen therapy. But what I have found is I do get limitation in my left shoulder and just at the top of the left here. And when I have been sort of looking around and talking to other people who have had a neck dissection, particularly out in the States, they were given mobility and stretching for the shoulder on the side of the dissection. So if you're watching this and you're waiting for a thyroidectomy, or you're like me, or post-thyroidectomy, see if you can get some mobility into your shoulder. It's not too late to help the body. And remember, when you operate up here, it affects everything that's coming down the spine. So I actually get tightness in my right hip because of the link. So if you're getting any hip tightness and you have had a thyroidectomy or an operation on your neck, this could be why. I'm going to show you today the scar, actually, which you can hardly see. So they came in, see it? Across there, like that. They went across there. But I've been asked quite a few times how long that scar was obvious for. I would say 6 months it was really obvious. There was like a pretty strong red line, but definitely by 1 year it had faded to this sort of level. And once I was able to touch it, I would massage it often. I used a lot of the diluted essential oils on it to just heal the skin. I used frankincense a lot, and I used geranium, both diluted. And I'll put a little recipe in the description down below. Now, at this point, I've had the thyroidectomy. I've been put on a dose of levothyroxine to suppress my TSH. With thyroid cancer, the theory is that if the TSH grows, any cancer cells in the body can grow as well. So they keep you in a hyperthyroid state. Meantime, after I came back from my thyroidectomy, I decided to start looking into the radioactive iodine, because I had already said to them that even if I took the surgery, I would not be taking the radioactive iodine. There is a small body of research to show that radioactive iodine may lead to an increase in leukemia, and it has also potentially been linked to an increase in bowel cancer and, stomach cancers and breast cancer. I declined the radioactive iodine instantly. I said I didn't want to, and when I spoke and when I brought up the risk of a secondary cancer, what they said to me was they felt that if in a number of years I did get a secondary cancer, that would have been quite good going. I found a blood test called the RGCC. It's also known as the Greek test. And what it does is it takes a sample of your blood. You have to go to some set laboratories, and it's sent off to a laboratory in Greece where they measure exactly how many cancer tumor cells are circulating in your blood. It's highly sensitive, and it looks for cancer cells long before they're going to show up in a tumor marker. So you're going to be able to take action long before your tumor marker has started to increase, or long before you might see a change on a scan or an ultrasound. I sent off to have that done, and I will place a link for that below. I had a circulating tumor cell count of 4.5, and 5 is the limit of where they say if it's above 5, it's active. I was below the 5, but I was only just below the 5, so it was a positive result, but it wasn't as positive as I had hoped. I was also to see the stem cells that my particular cancer was actually born from. When I looked into the research of these stem cells, I found that any cancer from these stem cells is totally resistant to radioactive iodine. And when I then found a group of people with this stem cell who had taken radioactive iodine, they had all had a reoccurrence of their cancer within 2 years, and it had metastasized to somewhere else in the body. So I had found people with it in the lungs and the spine. So when I rang up the oncologist and told him about this research and told him what I discovered, he said, well, if you have a reoccurrence and you end up at stage 4, we'll keep you alive for some time with chemotherapy. So really, I was out. We were just not on the same page, and I was not prepared to be what felt like a guessing game, an experiment. Yeah, they did have 3 further conversations with me where they explained I was incredibly high risk, which I already know. Having an extra thyroidal extension puts you up higher risk. The further around the neck it's gone, it puts you higher risk. And a vascular invasion, where I had it coming into the bloodstream, puts you at higher risk. But all of that said and done, I still wasn't prepared to be, I still wasn't prepared to do it. I'm now 15 months post-operation, and I will be having an ultrasound in May. But before then, what I do is I manage my own blood markers. So I have a few blood tests that I track. I do it all myself, and I am going to share these in another video. Thanks for being here for this video today. I know it was long, and I know I have to keep saying that I'm going to share this in another video, but I'm trying to make these pieces of information digestible enough, instead of just rambling on and not giving details on each bit. So to summarize, if you are going to have a thyroidectomy, make sure that you do these exercises that you're recommended and get some more for your shoulder and your hips. Please make sure you look into other therapies and other things that can support your body. Even if you are taking a conventional treatment, the body can be supported in many, many ways, and I'm going to talk more about that. And finally, if you are financially resourced, RGCC testing may be something that you might enjoy. And there are a few other tests, but the RGCC is the one that I chose. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you ever want to talk, you can drop me a comment and I will answer. Thanks so much. Bye.